Hello world, from whichever time zone you're catching me from, my name is MD90. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notification to all so that you do not miss the uploads that come up. And the easiest way for you to navigate the channel is to head to the playlist. You'll find videos curated for you based on your interest. So if you're interested in the Kutika podcast, you'll find a playlist for that. For news and trends, there's a playlist for that. Exclusive with MD90, a bunch of playlists that are created based on your interest. So the easiest way to navigate the channel is head straight to the playlist and you'll find what you're here for. Consider becoming a member of the channel. Right next to the subscribe button is a join button. You click on the join button so that you can become a member of the channel. You support the team on the production and a number of things that we're doing here, and we appreciate that.
Well, over the weekend, these beautiful pictures surfaced of President Hakainde Hichilema and First Lady Mutita Hichilema. This was during the ZNS Cadets commissioning, which happened over the weekend. So people are just appreciating the chemistry between the President and the First Lady, Mrs. Mutita Hichilema, earlier on. So prior to this, I think this is the first time that the First Lady is attending any of this service commissioning. Most of the time the president, most of the time the president attends them alone, and she's rarely at this event. Well, it has been established why she was there, not only as the First Lady, but you'll find out as the news broadcast goes on. So this was President Hakainde Hichilema interacting with the ZNS commander as the chief commander commander-in-chief there doing the same ceremony. Where those beautiful pictures were taken. So the interaction between the First Lady and the President was what caught people's attention. Very beautiful pictures came from this event. But she was not only there as the First Lady, but she was there as a mother. So it's been established that President Hakainde Hichilema's son was amongst the candidates that participated in the voluntary national service training. So as you may be aware, there is that has become up. So the first recruits of cadets, he was part of that cohort. And so now, which prompted a conversation. If you remember in 2022, there was a conversation where Hakainde Hichilema stopped children from working for government. So it's that conversation that's been persisting to say, okay, if the president had said he has stopped his children, then how does his son participate in voluntary ZNS service? And then there's a debate. Another section is arguing to say voluntary national service under ZNS does not necessarily mean he's now working for government. It's simply a sign of patriotism and pretty much working towards the building of Zambia, not necessarily becomes an employee of government in that sense. He's just ready to serve. Obviously, Emmanuel Mwamba was there, the saga of commissioned officer, Abuela Hichilema, that's President Hakainde Hichilema's son. So that's where the ceremony was, and that conversation has persisted. So Emmanuel Mwamba now put up this video. If you remember some time back when President Hakainde Hichilema said, we have stopped our children to work, we have stopped our children to work or get benefits in government or public sector. Abuela Hichilema, his son, has just been commissioned as officer under the ZNS. So now that's Emmanuel Mwamba's argument. So this is a video that Emmanuel Mwamba was referring to what President Hakainde Hichilema had said. So stand by there. Let me play you the video so that you listen to what the president said some time back.
My biological children have been stopped by me and my wife from working for government. None of them work for government. Why? It's to leave space for your children, yourself, to work for the government. Because HH's children are privileged. Now that they are privileged, they must allow others to also have access to income. Same principle, same principle. I am funded by myself. The little investments we made when we were working for ourselves for such a long time, and a difficult time, is now to allow others to have access to opportunity. That's why I'm in public office. That's why I serve public office. Is that not a good thing? Wonderful.
So that's a statement that the president had said. No, he had stopped his children from working for government, and now his son has joined the Zambia National Service. So now the other side of the aisle is arguing to say, yo, this is voluntary national service. It does not necessarily mean he's now on payroll for ZNS. And obviously others are arguing to say, in reality is that his children don't really need the pay from ZNS, because if you remember, just recently, the president had held an auction at one of his farms, and one of the bulls were going, is it as far as 25,000 kwacha? And I doubt any of those cadets get that much in ZNS. So if one bull and his children has been practicing farming for a long period of time, they even said it to say at some point they are very capable of paying their school fees, but obviously he had to pay for them as the father. But the farming activities that they've been involved in, they were very capable to cater for their own bills. So I doubt he joined the national service for him to get that pay that those cadets get. He was just there for patriotism, as they say. I believe he's got a bigger ambition than people see. It's definitely not to get the pay from that. So obviously, Kalema reports on it says, Hichilema enlists son in the first batch of voluntary national service. So President Hakainde Hichilema has enlisted his son, Habwela Hichilema, in the first batch of voluntary national service military training under the Zambia National Service. So Habwela was amongst the recruits who successfully completed the training and were commissioned officers during the pass-out parade held in Kafue on Friday. Actually, the pass-out was on Friday. So that's the situation there. And it seems like he's the only son that is very public with his father. Because if you remember, this was during the vote in 2021 when the President Hakainde Hichilema was voting. Most of his children have taken, President Hakainde Hichilema's children have taken the backseat. They are in the background, most of them. But him is very active with his father, so probably he's got political ambitions. So the father is simply guiding him. You can't stop him from that. Honestly, he's very entitled, just like any other citizen. I mean, if he feels the political landscape is where he can serve the nation best, who else can inspire him or guide him best than a sitting head of state, who is his father? You can't hate on that. It is what it is. So from the look of things, it's that path that is taken, not necessarily that he needs the pay from ZNS. Definitely not that. Their farming activities have taken care of them, as the president said, for a long period of time. So getting the pay from the ZNS isn't that. It was just a patriotism for him to undergo the training, understand what Zambia is about, and how best to defend it. That's what it is. And yeah, so those pictures, you can see he's the one that has been very active with his father. Wherever his dad is where he's at. I think he's the oldest son, aside from the girl that recently got married. She should be like the firstborn, and then he should be the second, and then there's another boy. There are about 2 boys and 1 girl. So he's the only one that is active that you can point at to say, okay, this is President Hakainde Hichilema's son. The rest of them are very much in the background. Even the girl, when she held that wedding, there are pictures of her, but if you were to meet her in public, you wouldn't be able to identify. The pictures were strategically taken that you wouldn't recognize her if you don't know her, really. Only those that don't know her. So this is the only one that you can put a face to it. Okay, this is President Hakainde Hichilema's son, because he's out there with the father right next to him, and obviously the picture's been taken. Now you can. So he's the one who has undergone that training. And obviously, people are having 2 cents about it. But for me, I think he's likely to take the political path, and he's just building his political strategy as he goes on. And he's being guided by a father. Go for national service, understand what Zambia is about, and how best you can be patriotic. So he's done that. So the next thing, if the father decides to say he's able to contest a seat in the UPND, whether be it councillor or a member of parliament, he's definitely able to get it. So he might be the youngest member of parliament as we go into 2026. As you may have seen, a number of children to former ministers and former members of parliament in their right contesting seats in various capacities. Iris Kaingo is one of them, and a number of people that are ambitious enough. So it seems like he's the one that has got the political bag from the father, and the dad is guiding him. So we wait and see if he contests as member of parliament in Namwara, where they have farms, or anywhere else, or maybe just a councillor, or not. No one knows really, because even the training, under ZNS. No one knew that his son was even part of that. Probably only the people, the top leadership under ZNS. So even people that he was training with, probably he was using a pseudonym or something. They couldn't tell that he's the president's son until the graduation. Because even during the ceremony, no one knew until ZNBC publicized those pictures and that broadcast to say President Hakainde Hichilema was part of. President Hakainde Hichilema's son was part of the cadets. That's what the people. Actually, maybe that's why even the first lady was part of that ceremony. She went to celebrate with her son, not only as a first lady, obviously, but she went to celebrate as a mother for her son. So I think this is the other son. This is not the one that is next to the president during all these political moves, where if the president is going to vote, and the one who's public, I think this is the youngest. So yeah, I personally do not feel he's entered ZNS for the salary. Definitely no cadet under ZNS gets paid 25,000 kwacha. And the bull that was sold during that auction was that value. Now you can imagine they've got a bunch of them and they are in farming. If one book it costs 25,000 kwacha, why would you want to get into a job that is way less than even that one bull? So definitely it's not that. It's just building his political landscape as he probably will contest. If not now, I would suggest he does it now. We need the youngest member of parliament, or maybe councillor. I personally feel he should go for member of parliament, Namwala or whoever else they do farming. He's definitely going to get it. He's definitely going to win it. So let's go. The new generation, let's get into it. So that's what I see. It's definitely not about the salary. I personally feel. So, and then another conversation was like, he had actually undergone serious training, because they are looking at his skin tone after the training to say there were no privileges. You could see from how he came out from the training, like just like any other ordinary person. I even doubt some people knew, apart from the top leadership under ZNS, even knew, part of the people that he was participating with, probably only found out when this was publicized to say he's Hakainde Hichilema's son after the graduation. Prior to that, I doubt they even knew he was the president's son. So people are like, look at even how his skin tone has changed. He really did participate just like any other person. Anyway, the only people that can vouch or not for that are people that he was with during the training. And then none has come out to say otherwise. So it simply shows he was trained like every other person. On the other hand, Chishimba Kambwili's daughter has been crying for her dad. So as you may be aware, Chishimba Kambwili is in prison. Should be like, is this 6 months or 5 months imprisonment for hate speech that he had issued during the 2021 elections. So this was Chanda Kambwili in 2020, when the father was arrested earlier on, I think by Edgar Chakalungu at court, and then they were dragged, that's her and the mother at some point. There was a big issue to say, no, why are you undressing, is it Chishimba Kambwili's daughter or mother? That scandal around that. So she was fighting for her father's case then under Edgar Chakalungu, when Edgar Chakalungu and Chishimba Kambwili were in bad books then. So this was the picture that was taken when she was arrested and then being released. So Chanda Kambwili mobbed by relatives and NDC supporters after release from Kabwata prison police station. So there, she's been very active for her dad. Then she wrote a letter to President Hakainde Hichilema just a couple of days ago, on the 17th of August, actually. So, which is just 2 days ago. She wrote a public letter to President Hakainde Hichilema, and she writes, an open appeal to His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema, dated 17th August 2025. Your Excellency, I write to you not only as a concerned citizen of this great nation, but as a daughter of helplessly watching our father's health and spirit deteriorate behind the cold walls of Chimbokaila prison. Dr. Chishimba Kambwili is not only a political figure, but first and foremost, he is a husband, a father, and a grandfather who has served this nation with undeniable passion and commitment. While our justice must always take its course, so too must compassion, especially when life hangs in the balance. Your Excellency, I listened intently to your heartfelt appeal. I listened intently to the heartfelt appeal made by Dr. Sebastian Kapalande during the memorial service of the late David Manawasa is reminder that governance is not only solely about legality, but also about morality and humanity. Struck deep code within me. President Mwanawasa's legacy of forgiveness and moral leadership, even towards former adversaries, is one our country remembers with pride and gratitude. Today, I find myself clinging to that same legacy. My father's health has continued to deteriorate rapidly. His condition is no longer just a concern; it is a crisis. The prison environment, with its limitations in medical attention, and is not conducive to his recovery. We, his family, fear for the worst each passing day. Your Excellency, you have demonstrated compassion. You have demonstrated a compassionate spirit in the past, and most recently in extending a hand of mercy to former Defense Minister Geoffrey Wayamwamba, GBM. We witnessed with hope your acknowledgement of a similar case, including that of Dr. Katede Kalumba. I am appealing that the same heart. I'm appealing to the same heart today. That's she says. So she's simply begging President Hakainde Hichilema to reach out to her dad and help out her dad. It says that his situation is very bad in prison, and justice, yes, may be served, but at this point, this is not a request for political favor. She goes further. This is not a request for political favor. It's a daughter's plea for her father's life. I ask you, sir, to please consider using the same prerogative of mercy granted to you by the Constitution of the Republic of Zambia to pardon my father on compassionate grounds. Let this moment be that where healing hearts triumph over punishment of bodies. Let it be a moment where we as a nation remember that every name behind bars, big or small, represents a human life. Your Excellency, in your own words, we owe every Zambian the same attention. I trust this includes my father, Chishimba Kambwili. May the legacy of President Mwanawasa and your own, may the legacy of President Mwanawasa and your own example of inclusive and moral leadership guide you once more as you consider this heartfelt plea. With hope and deep respect, Chanda Kambwili, daughter of Chishimba Kambwili there. So that's an appeal coming from Chanda Kambwili, Chishimba Kambwili's daughter, saying her dad is not doing well in prison, and she's appealing to President Hakainde Hichilema to use his prerogative of mercy to pardon her dad so that he can seek medical attention outside prison. That's an appeal. One thing for sure is that she fights for her dad, this girl. That's one thing that is very clear. Because if you remember at some point in the earlier picture that I showed you in 2020 when that incident happened at prison where the lady that you see on the far right, that's her mother. The lady in the center, that's Chanda Kambwili. And then on the left, that's Chishimba Kambwili. The two ladies were dragged at courtyard when Chishimba Kambwili was having one of those prison cases hearing in court. And yeah, she fights for her dad. That's one thing for sure. I think she's the only one that actually has that fight politically. She's got that from her dad. The son that the Chishimba Kambwili wanted to push to stand as a member of parliament, you could see that he didn't have that fight in him. Probably that's why he even lost that seat that he wanted to contest. Probably the dad should have pushed her. This girl is fighting for her dad online, in person. She's gone to police cells or in the past. So it seems like she's got that fight. He probably should have used her as a candidate to contest in that Luansha seat that he wanted the son to contest. The son didn't have that fight. No wonder he lost. Daily Nation reports what happened to pastoral letters. So Harika is wondering why the ZCCB has in more than a year failed to issue a pastoral letter when the country has been going through numerous social, political, and economic governance turbulences. So that's Harry Kalava's situation there. It goes further in the daily liberation. Calabar pleads with Catholics, please issue pastoral letter. Zambia is in disarray. Then Chief responded to him. He says, does that guy know the purpose of pastoral letters? Does he think they are for political aggrandizement? Leave the church out of your politics, religious confusion. So he simply says, hey, my friend, just fight your political battles there. Don't bring the church into politics. If you fail to fight your battles, just do them outside, not trying to use the church to issue a pastoral letter that is politically charged. News Diggers says removing United Party for National Development, UPND, won't be easy. Don't comfort yourselves that you can change government in 2026. That's in Kandu. That's probably the Minister of Sports, simply saying don't be delusional, thinking you can unseat the UPND in 2026. It won't be an easy fight. The Mass newspaper, vote wisely this time. Youths must avoid voting blindly next year. NGO, so non-governmental organization there, simply advising the youths as we go into election season. We expect Hakainde Hichilema to retain power, but a number of his members of parliament, councillors, are likely going to get the boot. Maiko. So that's another opinion, simply saying, yes, President Hakainde Hichilema is likely to retain power in 2026, but members of parliament and the councillors, the situation is not good for them personally. He issues that statement, and that's the news, ladies and gentlemen.